I'm going to talk to you today about the most missed step of healing. That the times where you have done so much deep work that then something isn't quite sticking. This is a video for someone that is a leader, someone that has done a lot of inner work on themselves, or someone that holds space for individuals going through their journey of inner work, finding themselves, healing. What I'm going to really break down is this idea that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, and I think is very underrated and undervalued. And that is the ability to actually have transformation. Because breakthrough is not where the transformation happens. The breakthrough is opening the door. And when that's all we're doing, it might be really good, like a surprise party. We go, oh my God, all my friends are here. This feels this big emotional experience. But then it's actually what happens next. It's actually what then goes on for me and how I continue to hold that really creates the transformation. I'm going to get into this in a really deep way so that at the end of this, you can really walk away with being able to deeply honor this step in the healing process and the part that allows integration to make the most sense so that I can actually walk with truth and confidence that I'm going to have my back and this stuff is actually working. So, let me get into it. You might have been to a breathwork session. You might have been to a big men's group ceremony. You might have been to a healing circle. You might have been to a rage release. Maybe you've had the medicinal experience with ayahuasca or mushrooms, and you've had these breakthroughs, these aha moments. Maybe it's happened in therapy where you've joined the dots. These breakthroughs create so much opportunity because I'm finally getting to see. Now, what we then sometimes do is have the breakthrough and move on. Then the session ends. So when I say that, I mean like, there's actually no way to just go through the entire session of, for say, a breathwork session and get to the end of it and be like, oh my God, that was the best thing ever. I had this big breakthrough. But then you pack up and go home, you move on. And it might happen in sessions as well with your therapist or your coach, where we get this big cathartic end and I feel amazing now, but then that's not really landed and that's all we get. So maybe the big experience happens in the experience, the room, the event, but maybe I don't take it with me. So we then focus on like, now what? We focus on moving on and then back into our lives and hoping that what we just did sticks and stays. But it doesn't. A lot of the time, it doesn't. What we focus a lot on is what's next? What do I go and do now? As opposed to what's now? What is this experience that I've just had? So I'll come back to this. So if I come back over here, the door opening is what a breakthrough can allow. Stepping into that door and getting used to what it feels like to be here now in the difference. This is the missing link of healing. How long we stay in that is what makes the difference between whether or not this work can really work for us. Most people miss staying. Actually feeling the big breakthrough, feeling how they're showing up now, and starting to expand on that. Staying with it. See what it's like. Be with it more. We don't let that have the airtime that it needs. What that actually does for the body now. What it's like in the mind. What thoughts are coming through. We don't let that stuff finally people miss is how it lands, how it starts to become something we embody. The nervous system, in its beautiful ways, works essentially like this. Big in, big in. We're just walking around being impacted by the world, and our body, very good at what it does, is try to figure out how to keep us safe. So the more that we expose ourselves to different experiences, the more the body can potentially get used to or be more threatened by. So what the nervous system demands when things start to shift and change a lot, when some big revelations are coming forward, is repetition. The more reps we get done, the bigger our muscles get, right? So the more that we have repetition to experience what it's like to feel this new thing, the more that we can actually build the strength around it. From there, we need to be able to have that felt sense, the reps of really feeling what this is like. How is this something that I'm holding now? Where does it feel different? How am I standing now? How am I breathing differently? What sensation is shifted? And then maybe the story of what it's like to now be, for example, calm. What it's like to feel strong, empowered, really teasing it out. The nervous system demands this so we can breathe it in and get used to it. Which I've written here, be with. We really need to be with it. Now, as you can imagine, I've just finished my breathwork session. I might do a little bit of a debrief and I'm out of there, back into my world, back into my life. Or I might just do an hour-long session with my therapist just at the moment of feeling free, and then I walk out and I've got to go back to work. There's not another room where I get to sit in and wow, what that's like. So the missing piece of a lot of healing is then we do the next thing. Then we move on to the next problem. What if this work isn't about problems? What if this work's about getting better? And then starting to feel better and be better. Rather than what's the problem? What's the issue? How do I fix myself, right? This is the real kicker in the difference between what makes an incredible therapist and coach versus someone that's giving big, empty breakthroughs without not a lot of that deep integration to sit in that transformation. Now, people that are able to hold you in something big like that essentially might be able to turn on the light. They flick this switch within you. So if I'm flicking the switch, then it's like, wow, nothing could ever be the same. Look at how I feel right now. Then that's awesome. But then if I walk out of session and flick the light off on my way out, I've turned it back off. I didn't let the shift and the switch stay on. Feel out the room. What it's like to be here as this new me. What it's like to wear it. What it's like to walk around. Be in the skin of it. No, I just switch it off on the way out, get back into my ordinary life. So, when we don't really spend time noticing the difference, and that's really what transformation is, a very subtle, very small, and sometimes big, but doesn't need to have to be, shifts, differences. What was going on for me then that's different for me now? That's what this is all about. So I have a client that's come in, that they are a calm that you wouldn't expect. We've been doing lots of sessions and there's always something bubbling. There's always something going on. There's always a magnitude 4 or 5 on the island of their nervous system. The Zoom calls weren't necessarily working. There's technical issues. We're delayed coming in. So I assume when they arrive, shouldn't assume, but that might have thrown them a little bit. That maybe we got to do a little bit of grounding first. We got to center. But instead how they show up is just like, hey, I'm not bothered. For me, I'm like, whoa, here's my moment. Here's this opportunity that I see that's so different. So I check in, I tune in. What's going on, right? Now, we might have problems we've got to deal with. We might have intentions for, the work that we're doing together. But I firmly and strongly believe that how we change the way that we create healing in the way that really sticks and lands is being able to deepen the experience when we have these big differences. It's celebrating the good, honoring how amazing it is to notice what was then and what is now. And we can do that in the power of our sessions, but we can do it outside of that in our own world as the individual doing the deep work. Sitting with like, wow, that's different, and honoring it, as opposed to like getting on with life. It's like, oh yeah, I put a boundary in place. Are you fucking kidding me? We've been working on boundaries for 2 years. Celebrate that shit. Feel what it feels like to now experience this being your voice and being able to stand up for yourself. What is that like? We've got to fully allow that to be. So if we're in session, again, coming back to this example, where they have this whole new sense of calm that I've seen glimmers of, but this feels really different. The missing step of a lot of healing is I then disregard that. Or I maybe spend a couple of times, it's nice to see you calm, but then we let it go. You want to become a really beautiful trauma therapist, then you're looking for these intricate, nuanced details of the embodied relationship that I have with another person and deepening their experience. So I can spend the whole entire session on what's now good, on what feels different, in how they're showing up now, to really honor the transformation that this clearly is. Rather than, all right, what's next? Let's move on now. We're going to do another breakthrough today. It's like, hold on. A lot of this stuff happens after the programs, after the therapy. And fortunately, we end up relapsing or we end up back in therapy. I don't want that for people. I want to empower people and help them embody this stuff so that it can keep landing. It's the new normal. Transformation is about how long we're able to hold and get used to the breakthrough that felt different, that is the new now. What it's like to fully hold that, right? Really allow it to stay and land, and then walk different, talk different, breathe different, be different, what that looks like. So back to this session. We spent the whole entire 60 minutes expanding on what that feels like, how it is now, how it's showing up in their world. What was it last week? What's it like to really properly feel now? We can ask some really beautiful questions, inner questions as well as prompting questions, but it's like, what do you notice calm has now given you? What is it like to now stand with more confidence? How can you see that there is something new here? What's it like to stand in this new energy? Right? Expanding what it's like, just teasing it out and letting it be more and more here. This is how we create such deeper, expansive experiences with the body, with the mind, with the work that we do. So I think it's the most underrated part, because when we spend a lot more time on now I don't people please, or I've just set some boundaries, or I back myself now, and then we can see some of the examples of that. I want to keep filling that cup. I want to make it so the new normal that that's the new way I operate. This is really what it looks like to spend time in transformation, the difference. Without this, we can't integrate. So, aftercare. As I said before, another breakthrough means that we had the door open and then we left, right? The aftercare is spending like 15, 20 minutes before we wrap up the session, or being able to kind of put some homework together. It looks like, what can I do now, right? What this might mean in this little drawing here is this new shift, this new transformation, right, is something you want to always now hold and live with. And this new sense that you feel so good, what is this elixir of life? What is the recipe so that I can keep drinking from it? How do I need to make my life look outside of this container, or this breathwork session, or this medicinal session, or this coaching session? How do I want to now take that out into the world so that I can take some of that and drink from it every single day? What are the prompts? What's the journaling where I can write about it? Not to analyze it more, but to expand the language of it so it feels more deeply connected in the body. What do I need to do? Because this elixir of life creates this new me, this transformed me. That's then the integration, right? So the aftercare is living and breathing the transformation. That's the repetition. Getting the reps in. This is what it's like to now walk in this skin. Getting the felt sense, it's like, this feels so good now, I feel so free. It also then creates the difference to know, when am I back where I was versus where I want to keep being now. So it's really expanding the now. The elixir is the key. Is when I have these big, expansive sessions with people, I want to talk about it the whole next session. How's it like? What does it feel like now? How do I check in and get them to see, oh, I really love how I'm feeling. Okay, what are you loving? What can you keep doing that allows for you to keep drinking from this, to keep having love here? What can no longer be the same? This, when this is done right, we have the most effective long-term change for people and for ourselves. Is really able to go, ah, wow. Actually honor the exhale that's different, you know? Honor the posture that's bigger. Honor the eyesight and the connection that's happening. Honor the more love that I might now be experiencing in my relationship. Keep letting it move towards these edges so it becomes the new normal, not just this fading thing that I then have to keep going and having, just like this breakthrough, you know? How do I continue to live from this place? That's the honoring of truth. That's the ability for us to have the most integrated experience when it comes to healing, and letting it fully land, ongoingly land. If this is something that aligns with you when you hear it, if you have that felt sense of like, oh, this is what's missing, or oh, I've done so much different breakthroughs, I'm almost seeking the next one once I've already had the first one, then rewind this video and watch it again. We want to not just open the door, we want to walk into it and be able to be in that bodily experience and embody what it's like to have these transformations. If this is something that really resonates and you want to do a free session with me, then book a 30-minute growth call. And if you're a leader that works at holding space for people, then come and join Authentic Leaders, where we keep deep diving and refining the work that we're doing, so that you can keep getting better and better at how you show up for you, and keep integrating this work so you can hold it for longer and then hold it for others. See you on the next one.